Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Nerdy Operator, and today I am in a very good mood. So I wanted to make something that I honestly didn't even really think about until just now. I've also seen some other people put up similar videos to what I'm about to give you guys here. So, as you can see, we got some good old-fashioned Modern Warfare 2 gameplay going right here. This is actually from the reveal trailer from way back. I remember seeing this for the first time, and I got so excited, so giddy. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. I was on the hype train. I could feel it, and I couldn't take it. I couldn't stand the wait. So, this video is going to be about the proposed sequel to Modern Warfare 2019, Modern Warfare 2, Roman numeral 2, which is the rumored title to be coming out this following year. First off, I really just want to explain why I'm in such a good mood. So, for anyone that did not know, a while back there was someone on TikTok that had requested that people repopulate Modern Warfare 2. This person generally only asked for a day. He asked for a day, and that was December 21st. It is now the 22nd as of the recording of this video. And it looks like people are staying, because I kid you not, you're about to see here in a minute, I recorded quite a lot of gameplay from today. That's right, today. I actually could find matches on Modern Warfare 2, and it made me so happy. I did not even think that it was gonna happen. I couldn't believe my eyes. I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna get on, I'm going to see if it actually did anything, and if not, you know, that would suck, but you know, it is what it is. But no, I actually was able to find matches, and I had a blast playing this game again, and I missed it so much. I was so happy, guys. I can't even tell you how happy. I really hope that people continue to play it, because I love this game so fucking much, and I really wish they would remaster the multiplayer, or at the very least just have this game be repopulated. Because this will always be, hands down, my favorite game in the entire Call of Duty franchise. No game has ever come close. Modern Warfare 2 is the game that I put the most time and commitment into. I have 357 days allotted of gameplay time. I should have taken a screenshot or recorded like the menu for my barracks so I could show you guys that, but I didn't think about it, so I do apologize for that. But yeah, regardless, this is the Call of Duty game I put the most time into, Modern Warfare 3 being the second most. So yeah, guys, this put me in a really good mood. I was so happy to be able to play this game again. And yeah, so just enjoy gameplay that I got today of me playing and just having some fun. So let's get into it. Modern Warfare 2, Roman numeral 2, is the rumored next Call of Duty game to drop next year in 2022. Obviously, it's going to be a sequel to Modern Warfare 2019, and I think that, you know, a lot of people, including myself, would say whenever we have like rumors for video games or just rumors for anything in general, always take it with a grain of salt. But to me, it makes total sense just because of how successful Modern Warfare 2019 was. It just seemed, I just see no reason for them not to do a sequel. So I want to talk about the things that I personally think Modern Warfare 2 2022 needs to have in order to actually bring people back and keep like it's not going to be able to like bring back the nostalgic flair that the original Modern Warfare games had, but I'm hoping that it has a new flair that also feels nostalgic even though it's new. That's how Modern Warfare 2019 felt to me. It was new, but I had nostalgia rushes for days. So the first thing that I think that Modern Warfare 2 2022 needs to have, they need to keep the Modern Warfare 2019 engine. You know, people can say what they want about like how Modern Warfare 2019 played or how Vanguard played, because it is using the Modern Warfare engine, but they need to keep that engine. They need to keep the more tactical style of Call of Duty. I know a lot of people hated this. Truthfully, I don't quite understand why. I thought it was needed. It was a great change, and To me, it was something that I had been always wanting from Call of Duty, a more tactical approach. I liked being able to lean, I liked being able to open and close doors, peek through, toss a flash grenade, clear the room like total Zero Dark 30 style. So I thought it was needed, and they need to keep it. Now, I understand that because of the more tactical way of playing, it kind of ties into the map design, which we'll get into later. I understand that the games were very slow and it did get very, very campy. I get that, but as we will discuss when I talk about the maps later in this video, it's not the engine's fault. It's not the way they set up the game. It is simply the maps. But we'll get into that later. So yeah, they need to keep the Modern Warfare 2019 engine. They need to keep the tactical style of gameplay. Next up, the classic minimap. The classic minimap. This was a huge, huge gripe that people had when Modern Warfare launched, because while it looks like a traditional minimap, it isn't, because even without a suppressor, you couldn't see where enemies were firing from unless a UAV was up. There was no red dots or orange dots or whatever. It was like complete fog of war, as they called it. Now, I get that, with them trying to put more realistic and tactical elements into the game, they thought that would work. I like where they're I like their thinking. I like where they're coming from, but as much as I love the more tactical style of also having a mini-map that doesn't actually show you the locations of enemies without a UAV, it was kind of detrimental to the flow of the game. I mean, it really was. It was part of the reason the camping was so severe, because no one knew where anyone was at, and I mean, let's face it, you're not going to have fun when you're just getting murked the whole time. You're really not. And I understand that was a big gripe for a lot of people. I was okay with that. I mean, sure, I didn't really care for it a whole lot, but it didn't hurt the game for me. But I definitely think that they need to bring that back, mainly just to help with not having as many campers, because it was kind of bad. Next up, OG Modern Warfare guns. I don't like the fact that when it came to like DLC weapons, especially with Modern Warfare 2019, there was only like a couple that were, I guess you could call, throwbacks to previous Modern Warfare games. Like the Ram 7, for example, is just the TAR 21 being brought back. That's cool and everything, but I feel like there's a lot of guns that they should have brought back but didn't. Namely, the ACR, the UMP 45, the SCAR they did bring back, but it was kind of lackluster. I want a SCAR that's like really good, like Modern Warfare 2 SCAR. I'd love to have that back again. And then, of course, no one can forget the Intervention. The Intervention, I would love to see that come back. Like, I just remember the old days of Modern Warfare 2, the trick shotting, the quickscope lobbies, all that stuff. Hell, playing Search and Destroy and just trying to quickscope everyone was fun back in the day. And the Intervention is definitely king of quickscopes. Doesn't matter what, I don't care what anyone says. It was the king of quickscopes. It is the best sniper rifle in the entirety of Call of Duty, and I miss it. You can't deny that it had the coolest firing sound ever. So yeah, guys, I would really like to see like the more OG, classic, nostalgic guns, ACR, UMP-45, Intervention, all that good stuff come back. Next up, we need to have the classic Prestige system back. Now, a lot of people, and especially a lot of YouTubers I know, did not like the seasonal way of a leveling system, and I get it. It was just one of those things where I was just like, I can take it or leave it. It's not a huge issue for me. But at the same time, when it comes to the classical Prestige, there's just something so I don't know how to describe it. It's just like it was just more wholesome. If you get what I'm trying to say, it was more wholesome. Being able to get to level 55 or 70, 80, whatever, being able to prestige, get that cool icon next to your level. And yeah, Modern Warfare 2019 did away with that. However, when it comes to me in the prestige system, when I say classic prestige, I mean the prestige system from COD 4 to Black Ops 2, meaning 10 prestiges or 15 or whatever, and then you hit a master prestige and that's the end of it. That's what I think they should bring back. I don't want them to bring back 10 prestiges and then 1,000 levels after that, because here's the thing with me and prestiging. It is very monotonous and largely unrewarding. Sure, you might get an extra class, but it's still largely unrewarding. To me, it never really felt worth it. But it was just one of those things that you just thought to, at least I thought to myself, I might as well do because I'm playing the game and I'm enjoying it. But it's just monotonous. There's really no rhyme or reason to it aside from getting an additional create a class slot. So while I do think they need to bring it back, I just don't want them to bring back the 1,000 levels after Master Prestige. That doesn't need to come back. To me, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels like this, it never really gave any real incentive to keep playing. It really didn't, because like I said, it's just so unrewarding. You don't really get a whole lot out of your time on it. Next up, AntiCheat. There needs to be a legit anti-cheat program built into the game at launch, not a driver like Ricochet for Warzone and Vanguard, which isn't even doing its job, and I kind of expected that. It's one of the reasons why I don't play Warzone and Vanguard anymore. I never liked Vanguard to begin with. I used to love Warzone, but now I just can't stand it, mainly just because of the cheating, and Ricochet didn't do shit. So yeah, there needs to be a real anti-cheat. Like if Call of Duty would just let go of their stigmatisms and their pride and use, for example, easy anti-cheat, that would be great, because easy is probably one of the best anti-cheat systems out there. A lot of more independent games use it, like Insurgency, for example, that uses easy anti-cheat, and it is very effective. Because with easy anti-cheat, it's not a it's not an account ban, it's an IP and hardware ban. Like, you'd have to get a completely new modem and just to be able to play again. So yeah, there needs to be a real anti-cheat. Next up, now this one I don't really care about, but I know a lot of people do. Ranked play. Again, it's not a big deal for me, but I understand why it is for others. I know a lot of people like having that more competitive side of things, especially in Call of Duty, and ranked play has been hit or miss ever since Black Ops 2. Some games haven't had it at all, some games would have it like late into their cycles, and I understand that it's just another one of those things that keeps people playing, especially because I remember in Black Ops 2, lots of people would hit the ranked play, and like I used to love watching ranked play streaming. I never did it myself because I didn't really care a whole hell of a lot, but it was always nice to just see that more competitive side of things. So again, not a huge deal for me, but it should be there on day one. I mean, I think everyone can agree with me, it needs to be there on day one, because who knows, maybe I may want to actually try it. I think the only game I tried ranked play in was Black Ops 2, and I was just like, it's not for me. Next up, the Gunsmith. My opinion when it comes to the Gunsmith is we should retain the Modern Warfare version, meaning 5 attachments. Because 10 attachments or whatever it is in Vanguard is just ridiculous. Like, to me, it just seems like to me it's just breaking the game. That's just what it seems like to me. It doesn't actually seem to. I see no point, no rhyme or reason to having so many attachments. Why do you need that many attachments? I think 5 is just perfectly fine. However, I think we should at least have like a weapon perk or something similar that allows for more. Like, maybe they could bring the bling perk from Modern Warfare 2 back as a weapon perk that would allow 1 or 2 more additional attachments for like 6 or 7 attachments. But or maybe we could go with 1 additional attachment for your main weapon, and then your secondary could get 2 more attachments, or vice versa. You know, something like that. I don't think we need 10 attachments again. I really don't. So I hope they continue working with the Gunsmith, and I hope they just stick to the Modern Warfare version. But it would be cool to see Bling come back as a way to get like an additional attachment or 2. Next up, Ground War. Now, when I'm talking Ground War, I'm not talking original Ground War from back in the day that was like 9v9 or 8v8, whatever it was. I can't freaking remember. It's been so long. I'm talking Ground War and Modern Warfare 2019. Now, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, it was a Battlefield ripoff. It's not original." In my opinion, it was the only thing in Modern Warfare 2019 that I could bear playing. It was the only thing that I thought was fun, because I actually like the idea of Call of Duty like doing something more Battlefield-esque. And see, like, my favorite game mode has always been Domination, and since Ground War is basically just a gigantic version of that, I loved it. I had a lot of fun. The maps weren't exactly the best for Ground War. I only liked like 2 or 3, and there's like 5 or 6 or something like that. But I enjoyed it because I could not play any of the other modes in Modern Warfare 2019, mainly just because of the maps, but again, we'll get into the maps later. So yeah, Ground War needs to come back. Alright guys, now I'm going to talk about the maps. So, as I previously said, I only played Ground War because it was the only game mode that truly felt fluid and had decent gameplay, decent balancing. It wasn't the best, but it was fluid enough for me to enjoy it. Every other game mode, whether it was 6v6 and 10v10 or 12v12, whatever the heck it was, the maps were just too big, and the layouts were just not very well thought out. It just felt like jumbled messes. They're just like, oh, we got this here, let's fuse it with that, and then here we go, we have Piccadilly Circus. That map is fucking horrible. I hated that map so fucking bad. Anytime I saw it, I would back out. I refused to play it. The maps in Modern Warfare 2019 have got to be some of the worst maps that I have ever seen. And I don't think they actually took the time to really like think the layouts out. I don't think they really considered what they would really need to do to keep a flow between the players in this map, because they were just so large, and outside of Ground War they just didn't seem to make sense. And you know, there were a couple of maps that were a little bit smaller and what you're typically used to with Call of Duty with the 3 lanes and everything, but the launch maps, they were just so bad. When it came to the night vision modes, they were a little bit bearable for me, I guess, because I thought the night vision mode was actually really freaking cool. That's actually another thing I think they should bring back real quick. I don't mean to stray off topic from the maps, but I do think that the night vision mode needs to come back, and it needs to be permanent, because I actually really enjoyed night vision mode. Anyway, back to the maps. Yeah, they weren't well thought out. The shipment map on Modern Warfare 2019 was fucking horrid. It didn't feel like shipment. It really didn't. And I think the same can be said for Vanguard. They don't feel like shipment. I kind of feel like they just neutered the hell out of those maps. And then on top of the maps, they need to... Okay, I understand a lot of people will call developers lazy for bringing back old maps, like especially Black Ops 4. Half the maps were throwbacks at launch, but I think we need to have... There needs to be more to each season if they're going to continue down that road. I think every season needs to include at least 2 throwback maps. At least 2. Because I was really hoping that Overgrown would come back in Modern Warfare 2019, because it's one of the most memorable maps from Call of Duty 4. You know, agree or disagree as you please, but I was really hoping that map would come back, and it didn't. Like, Terminal didn't even come back, and that actually really surprised me, because for a while Terminal was kind of Infinity Ward's Nuketown. So I'm actually quite surprised that that didn't come back. Instead, what maps did we get? We got Crash, we got Backlot, we had Shipment. Am I missing any of them? Oh, we had Hard Hat from Modern Warfare 3. If I'm forgetting any, please forgive me. You can tell me in the comments which ones I missed. But yeah, like, there needs to be like more like COD 4 and Modern Warfare 2 maps coming back. Afghan came back in Infinite Warfare as a Mars map, and it was bleh, because that game was just bleh. But like, I'd love to see Afghan come back. It's actually one of my favorite maps for domination in Modern Warfare 2. I'd love to see Afghan come back. I think Crossfire needs to come back. I miss that map a lot. Overgrown, as I said. Oh, Vacant. Vacant did come back as well. I remember Vacant, and Rust. I remember now. But yeah, like, I just feel like there's so many maps that they had to choose from that probably would have made more sense for Modern Warfare 2019 that they didn't bring back. So hopefully they'll bring them back for Modern Warfare 2 2022, because that would be freaking great. But closing on the maps just, they need to be more thought out. The layouts need to be thought out. They need to be coherent. They actually need to take the time to consider the flow of each map, especially if we're going to keep having larger player lobbies. Now, I want to talk about the campaign. Now, the campaign in Modern Warfare 2019 was amazing. I loved it, but it was very short. And I guess people could argue that all the Call of Duty campaigns are short, but looking back on the campaigns for COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, and Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2019 is easily the shortest. And yeah, like, I would really just like for them to make a longer campaign, a more drawn out story. And I know a lot of Call of Duty players, myself included, don't necessarily think the campaign has anything to do with the game's worth, because a lot of us will just go straight to multiplayer. However, I do like a good campaign. Especially with, like, say if I'm playing multiplayer and I'm getting frustrated and I just want to take a break, I want to go play campaign or Spec Ops. We'll talk about Spec Ops here in a minute. But yeah, like, every single Call of Duty game that I have bought, and I've bought every single one with the exception of Vanguard, and in this case, an exception can be made for Black Ops 4 because it didn't have a campaign, I would always start with multiplayer, but then I would eventually go play the campaign. And that's just me. It might be different for other people, but that's just me. And on the subject of the campaign, I know a lot of people are going to agree with me on this. Soap and Ghost need to have major roles in the campaign. In fact, I would love to play as Soap again in this rebooted story. If he is the player character in Modern Warfare 2, I think that would be amazing. That would be great. I'd love to play as Soap again. But regardless, they need to have prominent roles in the story going forward. Since Modern Warfare is being rebooted, I'm sure they're going to go far with it. I really hope they do go far with it, but Soap and Ghost need to have major roles again. So that's really all I have for the campaign. The next thing is actually a huge complaint of mine and a huge complaint of many others: the file size. Call of Duty Modern Warfare was 200 gigabytes by the time its cycle was done. After they included Warzone and everything else, it was 200 gigabytes. That is ridiculous. That takes up half of a 500 gigabyte console's memory alone. It's ridiculous. Why? I don't understand why they couldn't take the time to compress the files and just make it smaller. Because if you're like me and you're playing on the next gen systems, you know, for the Series X, which is what I primarily play on, comes with the 1 terabyte, 1 terabyte hard drive, and that's great and all, but the game takes up a good portion of that space. I ended up putting it on an external hard drive since it's not an Xbox Series X or next gen game. I can do that and I can still play it. But 200 gigabytes, guys. That is just ridiculously big for a game. I don't understand why they couldn't have just compressed the files. Like, at best, when a Call of Duty game right now is done with its life cycle, I don't think it should exceed 100 gigabytes. Even, I know some people might even think 100 gigabytes is a bit much. I'm just saying, I don't think it should go above that. Because 200 is definitely, no, that's way too large. And, it's like, oh, you can delete Spec Ops and campaigns, save some space. But it's like, but what if I don't want to do that? What if I want to keep them in case I want to play campaign or Spec Ops? Because during Modern Warfare's run, I would constantly play Spec Ops to level when I didn't want to play multiplayer. Because Spec Ops was a great way to level. You could get a lot of XP. So, telling us to just delete some stuff to save space, to me, is just a serious no. It's a no-go. Make the game compressed, make the file size smaller. It cannot be that hard. I refuse to believe that they cannot do it. Next up, I want to talk about Spec Ops. Now, Spec Ops, a lot of people were disappointed with it with Modern Warfare 2019, and for good reason. It wasn't what we were expecting. When we were told that Spec Ops was making a return, it was just, oh my god, yes, great, amazing, I'm so excited. But it was very different than what we're used to from Modern Warfare 2 and 3. Modern Warfare 2 and 3, we would have like the various missions and various tiers of increasing difficulty, 1, 2, 3 stars, playing on veteran and completing gets 3 stars, you go for the achievements, all that cool stuff. It wasn't like that at all. While they did have some separate, I guess you could say, missions that had that star system, it was lackluster. There was only like a handful of them, and then main Spec Ops, while it did boast a continuation of Modern Warfare 2019's story, it didn't do a good job. When I say that, I mean it was really hard for me to follow the story after like completing each mission, getting all the intel, all that good stuff. I actually had to go back and read on Wikipedia how it actually meshed together for me to understand the story of Spec Ops. And Spec Ops was very buggy when it first launched. I had issues like completing the first objective a lot because they would never appear. They did patch that relatively quickly, but it's just Spec Ops was completely different. It wasn't the retro, the classical stuff. It was more just objective. It was basically an objective-based game mode. It wasn't like you weren't like on a timer to complete the mission, or anything like gut-wrenching or stress-inducing like the missions from Modern Warfare 2, for example, like the Juggernaut missions. Oh, I cannot tell you how many times I raged on those, but there was none of that. And with a really good team, you could complete the Spec Ops missions very easily, and it just felt underwhelming. It just didn't seem to deliver on a real sense of achievement. So I think Spec Ops needs to be brought back to its roots. What we had in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, that kind of Spec Ops needs to come back for sure. At least included. Like if they did Spec Ops the same way they did in 2019, that's fine, but if they can at least include the classic Spec Ops, I'd be happy. And I think a lot of us would be too. Alright. And the one last thing that I want to talk about when it comes to Modern Warfare 2 2022 is I am really hoping that they do a little bit better of a job in terms of monitoring and updating the game. Because Modern Warfare 2019, you would get updates every, season? And that's it? At least that's what it seemed like. They didn't really seem to roll out patches that fast. And kind of like in true Modern Warfare 2 fashion, Modern Warfare 2019 was broken majority of the time. It's completely broken now. It's damn near unplayable because of Warzone Pacific, and it just completely just neutered the entirety of the system because those games are connected. Warzone and Modern Warfare 2019, it's a nightmare. And to me, it's inexcusable. I understand that Raven Software was put in charge after Modern Warfare 2019's run so Infinity Ward could work on their next title. I get that, but it shouldn't be like that. Infinity Ward should still oversee it at the very least because Raven can't do their jobs. I'm being critical here, but I'm also speaking what I believe in my heart. Raven cannot do their jobs. I think they got a big head after the COD 4 remaster, which they did a very good job on, and after that they just got a very big head, and now it's just they don't give a shit. Because if they did, I don't think Warzone would be as buggy as it is right now. In fact, go check out my most recent video. I actually have some footage of some of the graphical bugs, major graphical bugs in Warzone that just made me scratch my head, go, huh? Why can't they fix it? And just based off of their conduct and Activision's conduct of late, it's not that they can't, they just don't care. And I really hope that Infinity Ward with their next game actually stays on top during its run, to keep it running as best as they can, to keep the updates coming, the patches, fix any bugs, glitches. They need to do a better job. And that actually goes for all the studios, especially Raven Software. They need to get off their ass, grow the fuck up, and do their jobs. The one thing that always matters most when a game comes out is quality assurance. And that has been non-existent the past couple of Call of Duty games. Modern Warfare 2019, like I said, they did a decent job, but once Raven Software took over, that went away. And Cold War, I feel like that game was just I can't even put it into words, it was that bad. And then Vanguard is 10 times worse. It's so bad, guys. Alright guys, well that's really all I have for you today. Those are just the things that I think Modern Warfare 2 2022 needs to have in order to have the flair that it needs for people to buy it and play it for at length. And definitely the quality assurance needs to be there. I really hope they do a better job of that and actually take the time to make it happen, because I love Call of Duty so much, and I'm truly worried that it's going to go down the tubes very fast right now, especially after Vanguard. So I'm hoping that Modern Warfare 2 2022 can revive it and just keep Call of Duty going in the right direction, because I thought 2019 was going to do just that, but instead we ended up getting Cold War, which was a step back, actually a couple steps back if you ask me. So yeah guys, that's all I have for you today. My name is Nerdy Operator. I hope you liked this video. Please leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys.